Tom lived in a small house on the outskirts of the city, a place where the silence was almost palpable. The days dragged on in a monotonous routine, waking up, making a cup of coffee, looking at the dusty photos on the wall, memories of a past that seemed to belong to another life. Tom was a war veteran, marked not only by the visible scars on his body, but also by the invisible ones that kept him prisoner of his own memories. The garden in front of his house was well maintained, a reflection of the discipline he still held. However, his eyes, once vibrant and full of life, now seemed lost, always gazing beyond the horizon as if searching for something left behind on the battlefield. At night, nightmares invaded his sleep, bringing back the sounds and visions of war. He would wake up in a cold sweat, his heart racing, feeling once again lost and alone. On the rare occasions he went to town, Tom was a solitary figure, walking with slow, thoughtful steps. The people around him carried on with their lives, often without noticing the man who bore so many untold stories. He avoided prolonged interactions, not out of unwillingness, but because he no longer knew how to connect with a world that seemed to have moved on without him. It was an existence marked by routine and loneliness, until the day an unexpected letter arrived in his mailbox. A letter that, although he did not yet know it, would begin to change the course of his life, bringing back the color and hope he thought he had lost forever. On a sunny morning, Tom followed his usual routine. The fresh morning breeze brought a rare comfort as he walked towards his mailbox. Opening it, he found the usual correspondence: bills, advertisements, and a small white envelope that stood out. There was no sender, only his name and address written in a child's handwriting. Curious, Tom carefully tore open the envelope and took out a folded sheet of paper. As he unfolded it, he found a letter written in pencil, the simple and sincere words of a child. The letter read, "Dear Mr. Tom, my name is Emily. I am 8 years old, and my teacher asked us to write to someone we think needs a friend. My mom told me you are a war hero and that you must feel very lonely. I wanted you to know that you are not alone. I also feel lonely sometimes, especially since my dad left. I would like to be your friend and hear your stories. With love, Emily." Tom read and reread the letter, feeling something stir inside him, something he hadn't felt in a long time. Emily's simple words touched him deeply, awakening memories of his own childhood and the feeling of lost innocence. He wondered how such a small child could have written something that touched him so profoundly. He put the letter in his pocket, feeling a strange warmth in his chest. Emily was not just any child. She was a beacon of hope in his dark life. And, for the first time in many years, Tom felt a spark of something he thought he had lost forever: human connection. He decided he needed to respond to that letter, not just to thank her, but to start a dialogue that he hoped could bring a little light to both him and Emily. Back in his small apartment, Tom sat at the kitchen table, still holding Emily's letter. The morning sun poured its soft light through the window, creating a cozy atmosphere that contrasted with the loneliness he usually felt. He picked up a pen and paper, hesitating for a moment before starting to write. "Dear Emily, thank you for your letter. I was very surprised and touched to receive it. You don't know how much your words meant to me. I am a war veteran, as your mother said, and I have been through many difficult things. Sometimes I feel lonely and hopeless, but your letter brought a bit of light to my day. I would like to hear more about you and your life. I know it must be hard without your father around. I also lost many friends in the war and understand some of your pain. I hope we can be friends and share our stories. With love, Tom." He carefully folded the letter and placed it in an envelope, feeling a mix of nervousness and excitement. The next day, He walked to the local post office and mailed the letter, eagerly awaiting Emily's response. The days passed slowly, and Tom found himself thinking about Emily often. He imagined what her life was like, her routine, her dreams and hopes. He could hardly wait to learn more about the little girl who, with a simple letter, had changed his perspective on life. Finally, a week later, another letter arrived. The same white envelope, the same childish handwriting. Tom opened it with an eager smile on his face. Emily described her school, her friends, and how she loved to draw and play with her dog, Max. Each word was like a balm for Tom's wounded heart, bringing a sense of joy and purpose he hadn't felt in years. And so began the correspondence between Tom and Emily. Letters went back and forth, filled with stories, drawings, and words of encouragement. Over time, Tom began to realize that his life was changing. He started going out more, connecting with other people, and, above all, feeling that he still had something to offer the world. Emily, in turn, found a friend and mentor in Tom, someone who could listen to her concerns and offer sincere advice. Their friendship became a bright spot in both their lives, proving that, even in the most unlikely circumstances, true connections can flourish and bring about significant changes. Weeks turned into months, and the correspondence between Tom and Emily continued to flourish. Each new letter brought a wave of joy and comfort to both of them. Tom found a new purpose in his life, and Emily gained a friend and confidant who understood her in a way no one else could. On a rainy afternoon, Tom received a particularly special letter from Emily. Inside, there was a colorful drawing of a man and a girl holding hands, surrounded by hearts and flowers. Along with the drawing, Emily wrote, "Dear Tom, I drew this for you. It's us together, friends forever. Mom said you are a very special person and that I am lucky to have you in my life. I feel like you are part of my family. I hope we can meet one day and play together with Max. With love, Emily." Tom held the drawing with trembling hands, feeling a deep, overwhelming emotion. He never imagined that, after so many years of loneliness and pain, a simple friendship could bring so much happiness and meaning to his life. He decided it was time to take this friendship a step further. At the end of his next letter, Tom wrote, "Dear Emily, your drawing is beautiful and meant a lot to me. You are very special to me, and I feel like we are family. I would love to meet you and get to know your mom and your dog Max. If your mom agrees, we could set a day to meet. What do you think? With love, Tom." Emily and her mother, Maria, were moved when they read the letter. Maria knew how much this friendship meant to her daughter and to Tom. She saw the positive transformation in Emily, who had become more joyful and confident. Maria decided it was time to meet the man who had become such an important figure in her daughter's life. They quickly responded to Tom's letter, arranging a meeting for the upcoming weekend at the city park. The news filled Tom with both nervousness and excitement. He could not wait to finally meet Emily and thank her personally for everything she had done for him. When the day arrived, Tom prepared carefully. He dressed in his best clothes, fixed his hair, and brought a small gift for Emily, a sketchbook with colored pencils. As he arrived at the park, his heart was racing, but he knew this was a decisive moment in his life. The park was full of life that sunny day, with children playing, families picnicking, and birds singing joyfully. Tom, nervous but eager, spotted Maria and Emily in the distance. He took a deep breath, trying to calm his racing heart, and started walking towards them. Emily, who saw him first, let go of her mother's hand and ran towards Tom, her golden curls bouncing in the wind. When she got close enough, She jumped into his arms, wrapping him in a tight hug. "Tom, I'm so happy to see you," she exclaimed with a radiant smile. Tom hugged her back, feeling a wave of emotion he hadn't experienced in years. "I'm very happy to see you too, Emily," he replied, his voice choked with emotion. As he released her, he handed over the present he had brought. "This is for you. I hope you like it." Emily opened the package, and her eyes lit up when she saw the sketchbook and colored pencils. "Thank you, Tom. I love drawing." She gave Tom another hug before running to show the gift to her mother. Maria approached, extending her hand to Tom. "Hello, Tom. I'm Maria, Emily's mother. I want to thank you for everything you've done for my daughter. You've brought so much joy to her life." Tom shook Maria's hand, feeling an immediate connection. "The pleasure is mine, Maria. Emily has changed my life in ways I never could have imagined. I'm very grateful to have her in my life." The three spent the afternoon together, talking and laughing, sharing stories and building a friendship that would soon become a familial bond. Tom, who had once felt isolated and lost, now found a new sense of purpose in his life. Emily brought light and hope to his days, and Maria offered friendship and support he never expected to find. While Emily drew in her new sketchbook, Tom and Maria talked about their lives and experiences. Maria was impressed by Tom's wisdom and kindness, while he was charmed by Maria's strength and dedication as a single mother. By the end of the day, as they said their goodbyes, it was clear to all that this would not be their last meeting. Maria invited Tom to dinner at her house the following week, and he accepted with enthusiasm. Emily gave Tom one last tight hug, thanking him again for the gift and his friendship. Tom went home that night with a light heart and full of hope. He had found a new family, and the prospect of a brighter future motivated him to move forward. Life had given him a second chance, and he was determined to make the most of it. This new friendship brought significant changes for all of them. Emily felt happier and more secure. Maria found a friend and ally, and Tom rediscovered the joy of living. Together, they began a new journey, proving that even in the darkest moments, the light of hope and love can shine brightly, transforming lives and uniting hearts in unexpected and wonderful ways. The following week, Tom headed to Maria's house with a mix of anxiety and excitement. He carried a bouquet of wildflowers, picked from a nearby field, and an apple pie he had carefully prepared. When he reached the door, he took a deep breath and rang the doorbell. Maria opened the door with a warm smile. "Hello, Tom. Please come in. Emily is very excited to see you." He entered and was immediately hugged by Emily, who had been eagerly waiting for him. "Tom, I drew a lot of new things. Come see," said Emily, pulling him by the hand to the living room table where her drawings were spread out. Tom looked at each one with admiration, praising Emily's talent and creativity. While Emily showed her drawings, Maria was preparing dinner in the kitchen. Tom offered to help, and together they prepared the meal, sharing laughs and stories. Maria told Tom about the challenges of being a single mother, and he, in turn, spoke about his experiences in the army and the difficulties of reintegrating into civilian life. At the dinner table, the conversation flowed naturally. Emily, excited, talked about her day at school and how happy she was to have Tom as her new friend. Maria and Tom exchanged looks of understanding and gratitude, realizing how their lives had changed since the first contact. After dinner, they sat in the living room to watch a movie. Emily nestled between Tom and Maria, feeling safe and loved. Tom, in turn, felt a happiness he had not experienced in a long time. He had found a purpose, a reason to move forward. As the weeks went by, Tom became a constant presence in Maria and Emily's lives. He helped Emily with her homework, attended school meetings, and was present for all important moments. Maria and Tom developed a deep friendship based on mutual respect and admiration. One afternoon, while walking in the park, Tom and Maria had an honest conversation about the future. "Maria, I know our lives crossed in an unexpected way, but I feel that there is something special here. I want to be there for you and Emily, not just as a friend, but as someone you can trust and rely on." Maria stopped and looked into Tom's eyes. "Tom, you are already part of our family. Emily adores you, and so do I. I want you to know that you will always have a place in our lives. Together, we can build something beautiful." Tom smiled, feeling a wave of relief and joy. "Thank you, Maria. That means a lot to me. We will face everything together, as a family." The bond between them grew stronger every day. Tom's presence brought the stability and joy that Maria and Emily needed. And for Tom, Maria and Emily brought new meaning to his life, filling the emptiness he felt. Everyone's life changed for the better. They began to celebrate the small moments together, the daily achievements, and the simple pleasure of being together. Mutual support, love, and understanding created a solid foundation for the future they were building. The meeting between Tom, Maria, and Emily proved that sometimes life surprises us with unexpected gifts, and that true family is not just the one we are born into, but the one we choose, that welcomes and loves us unconditionally. And so, together, they moved forward, ready to face any challenge life brought, with the certainty that they had each other. One day, while Tom was helping Emily organize her drawings in the living room, he noticed an old, dusty box in a corner. "What's this, Emily?" he asked curiously. Emily looked at the box and shrugged. "I don't know, Tom. Mom said it's an old family box. We've never opened it." Intrigued, Tom called Maria over. "Maria, what's in this box? It looks like it has a story." Maria smiled nostalgically when she saw the box. "This box belonged to my grandparents. It's full of family memories. I never had the courage to open it since they passed away." With encouragement from Tom and Emily, Maria decided it was time to explore the memories stored in the box. They brought it to the living room table and carefully opened the lid. Inside, they found old photos, yellowed letters, and small objects that told the story of past generations. Maria picked up a black and white photo of a young woman who looked a lot like her. "This is my grandmother, Helen. She was an incredible woman. I've always heard stories about her, but seeing her photos like this is emotional." Emily picked up a letter and began reading it aloud. It was a love letter written by Maria's grandfather to Helen during World War II. The passionate and hopeful words transported them all to that time, making them feel the depth of love and longing he felt. Listening to Emily's reading, Tom felt a deep connection to the story. "Maria, this is incredible. Your family has such a rich history. And to think all this was stored here, waiting to be discovered." As they explored more items in the box, they found Helen's diary. Maria began reading the first pages, discovering intimate and precious details about her grandmother's life. She wrote about the challenges she faced, but also about moments of joy and hope. "It's like I'm getting to know a part of her I never had the chance to meet." Touched by these memories, Tom suggested, "Maria, why don't we write a book about your family? It could be a way to preserve these stories for Emily and future generations." Maria agreed enthusiastically. "Yes, it would be a wonderful way to honor our history." In the following days, they dedicated themselves to cataloging and organizing all the contents of the box. Each letter, photo, and object was carefully studied and recorded. Maria, with Tom's help, began writing an outline for the book, bringing her family's stories to life. This journey brought new purpose to Maria and further strengthened the bond between her, Tom, and Emily. Discovering the past became a source of inspiration and unity for the future. As they worked on the project, Emily, always curious, asked questions about her grandparents and great-grandparents, enchanted by each new story she learned. Tom and Maria were happy to see how these memories were shaping Emily's understanding of her heritage. The process of exploring the past and documenting it for the future united the new family in a profound and meaningful way. They realized that even amid difficulties, love and resilience were the threads that wove the story of their lives. As days passed, Maria, Tom, and Emily delved deeper into the stories contained in Helen's diary. What were once just dusty pages now came to life in Maria's voice as she read her grandmother's moving accounts aloud. One afternoon, while flipping through the diary, Maria found a passage that particularly touched her. Helen wrote about her hope that one day her family could live in a better world, where compassion and solidarity were fundamental values. "Tom read this," Maria said, handing him the diary. Tom took the diary and read aloud. "Dear future generation, I write these words with the hope that one day you will find this diary and remember to live with love and kindness. The war taught us the value of peace and unity. May you always strive for a better world, even in the most difficult times." Maria's eyes filled with tears as she heard her grandmother's words. She always had so much wisdom, even in such dark times. Tom held Maria's hand. "Your grandmother was truly amazing. And look, Maria, you are living exactly as she wished, helping others, creating a home full of love for Emily. Helen would be so proud of you." Emily, sitting next to them, held a small photo of Helen. "Mommy, I think Grandma Helen would like me to write her a letter, telling her that we are okay and that we love her very much." Maria smiled, stroking Emily's hair. "I'm sure she would love that, dear. Let's do it together." That night, under the soft light of a lamp, Maria and Emily wrote a letter to Helen. Emily drew hearts and flowers, while Maria wrote words of gratitude and love. "Dear Grandma Helen," Maria began, "your words touch us deeply. We promise to honor your legacy, living with love and kindness, just as you wished. Thank you for guiding us, even from afar. With love, Maria and Emily." When they finished the letter, Maria placed it inside the diary, as if returning a message to the past. That simple gesture became a symbol of continuity and connection between generations. In the following days, Maria, Tom, and Emily continued to work on the book, increasingly inspired by Helen's words. They realized that Helen's legacy was not just a memory, but a living flame that illuminated their lives and guided their actions. The book project progressed, and Maria felt a renewed inner strength. She knew she was fulfilling her grandmother's wish, keeping the essence of her family alive and passing it on to Emily. Tom, in turn, felt more integrated into the family with each story discovered. He saw in Maria and Emily the realization of a dream he also shared, to build a home based on love, respect, and the memory of those who came before. Over time, Maria's house filled with books, photos, and objects that told the story of her family. Every corner of the house breathed history and memory, creating a welcoming and inspiring environment. Maria knew that by preserving Helen's story, she was also creating a solid foundation for Emily's future. The little girl would grow up knowing she was part of a lineage of brave and loving people who always fought for a better world. And so, day by day, Helen's legacy continued to live on, not just in the pages of a diary or a book, but in the hearts of Maria, Tom, and Emily, who found in their family's history the strength and inspiration to move forward. As they continued to explore the diary, Maria found a passage that intrigued her deeply. It was a letter Helen had received from an old friend, mentioning a secret she had never shared with anyone. "Maria, you need to see this," she said, handing the page to Tom. He began to read the letter aloud. "Dear Helen, I know you have kept the secret for many years, but I think it's time to tell the truth about what happened that night when the train was attacked. People need to know about the courage and sacrifice you made for us. I will always be grateful for your bravery. With love, Arthur." Maria's eyes widened. A secret? What could have happened that night? Tom and Maria decided to investigate further. They researched old archives and visited the local library in search of more information about the train attack mentioned in the letter. What they discovered left them speechless. Helen had been a heroine during the war, saving countless lives by diverting a train full of wounded soldiers to a safe location while risking her own life. She had never spoken about it, keeping the secret of her heroic act to herself. Maria was moved to learn about her grandmother's bravery. She was a true hero, Tom, and she never wanted recognition for it. She did it simply because it was the right thing to do. Tom held Maria's hand. "That explains so much about who you are, Maria. Courage and selflessness run in your blood." They decided this story needed to be told in the book. It would be a tribute to Helen's courage and an inspiration to all who read it. Back at home, Maria and Tom began writing about Helen's sacrifice. Emily, curious, sat beside them, listening intently to every word. "Was Grandma Helen a hero?" Emily asked, her eyes shining with admiration. "Yes, dear," Maria replied. "She was very brave and saved many lives. And now, we are going to tell the world about what she did." As they wrote, Maria felt a deep connection with her grandmother. It was as if Helen was beside her, guiding her hands and inspiring her words. The story of the train became the heart of the book, a powerful narrative about courage and sacrifice. Every detail, from the preparations to the critical moment of diverting the train, was carefully described, honoring Helen's bravery. Tom, who also felt deeply inspired, suggested they visit the site where the incident occurred. "It would be a wonderful way to honor her memory, Maria. We can take Emily and show her the place where her great-grandmother made history." Maria agreed. They decided to organize a family trip, which would be not only a tribute, but also an opportunity to reflect on Helen's legacy and the impact her actions had on future generations. The preparation for the trip was exciting. Maria and Tom arranged the details while Emily helped pack, eager to see the place where her great-grandmother had become a hero. The trip to the train diversion site was filled with emotion. Upon arrival, Maria felt a wave of pride and gratitude. They walked along the tracks, imagining the events of that fateful night. Emily, holding Maria's hand, looked around with admiration. "Mom, I'm so proud of Grandma Helen. She was very brave." Maria smiled, wiping away a tear. "Yes, dear, she was. And we are here to honor her and to let you know where all that courage came from." The trip brought a new sense of purpose to Maria. She felt that by telling Helen's story, she was fulfilling an important mission, ensuring that her grandmother's legacy would never be forgotten. They returned home with hearts full of gratitude and inspiration. The book was nearly complete, and Maria knew it would be a powerful tribute to Helen's bravery. And so, the revelation of the past not only illuminated the lives of Maria and her family, but also reinforced the importance of remembering and honoring those who made sacrifices for the greater good. With Helen's story complete and the manuscript finalized, Maria and Tom felt a mix of nervousness and excitement as they sent the book to the publisher. The following weeks were filled with anxious waiting as they anticipated the publisher's response. Finally, one day, the phone rang, and the editor's enthusiastic voice filled the room. "Maria, Tom, we love the book. The story is powerful and touching. We want to publish it as soon as possible." Maria and Tom embraced, overwhelmed with emotion. Helen's story would not only come to life in book form, but also touch the hearts of many others. The news of the publication brought a new sense of purpose and fulfillment to the family. Months later, the book was released. Titled Hearts of Steel, Helen's Bravery, it quickly gained notoriety. People were inspired by Helen's courage and selflessness, and the story began to spread by word of mouth. Maria was invited to various interviews and book launch events, where she shared not only her grandmother's story, but also her personal journey of discovering her legacy. At each event, there were tears of emotion and words of gratitude from readers who felt deeply moved by the narrative. At one of these book signings, an elderly woman approached Maria with a smile on her lips and tears in her eyes. "I served with your grandmother during the war. She was a true inspiration to all of us. Thank you for sharing her story." The woman's words deeply moved Maria. It was as if, through the book, she was connecting the pieces of the past and bringing to light the untold stories of so many unsung heroes. Meanwhile, Emily, now more aware of her great-grandmother's legacy, began sharing the story at school. She proudly talked about Helen, inspiring her classmates to value courage and kindness. One day, Emily came home with a school project titled My Hero, Grandma Helen, which received special recognition at school. Helen's story not only impacted strangers, but also strengthened family bonds. Maria, Tom, and Emily felt more connected than ever, united by Helen's legacy of bravery and selflessness. Their home was now filled with old photos, letters, and keepsakes that told the story of a woman who, in times of darkness, chose to be a light. The book's impact exceeded expectations. Organizations and charities began reaching out to Maria, asking her to share Helen's story at events and fundraising campaigns. Helen's bravery became a symbol of inspiration for many, encouraging acts of kindness and courage in everyday life. One day, Maria received a letter from a young soldier serving overseas. She wrote about how Helen's story inspired her to keep going in moments of despair, giving her the strength to fulfill her mission. "If Helen could face the impossible, so can I," the letter read. Reading this letter brought tears to Maria's eyes. She knew her grandmother's story was fulfilling a greater purpose, touching lives and inspiring courage in distant places. She felt deep gratitude for having discovered the forgotten note in the library and embarking on this journey of discovery. Maria and Tom's book not only celebrated Helen's legacy, but also served as a powerful reminder that acts of courage and kindness have the power to change the world. Through the writing, Helen lived again, inspiring a new generation to value bravery and humanity. And so, the impact of Helen's story continued to reverberate, echoing through the pages of the book and the hearts of those who read it. For Maria, Tom, and Emily, the book's publication was more than a literary success. It was a celebration of the human spirit and the transformative power of memory and history. With the book Hearts of Steel, Helen's Bravery, gaining popularity, Maria and Tom began receiving numerous letters and emails from readers touched by the story. Among these messages, one stood out. It was from a man named William, who claimed to have known Helen personally during the war. William told a fascinating story about how Helen had saved his life on a dangerous mission. He described her as a woman of unparalleled courage, whose kindness and determination left an indelible mark on everyone who knew her. He also mentioned possessing some letters and photographs of Helen that she had written during the war. Maria was moved by William's message. She and Tom decided to visit him to hear his stories and see the items he possessed. On the appointed day, they were greeted by an elderly but still vigorous man, with a warm smile and eyes bright with nostalgia. William invited them in, and in his living room, he showed them a box full of letters, photographs, and war memorabilia. Maria carefully went through the letters, moved to recognize her grandmother's handwriting. The letters were filled with details of Helen's experiences, her reflections on the war, and her hope for a better future. One photograph particularly caught Maria's attention. It was an image of Helen, smiling beside a group of soldiers, including William. On the back of the photo was a message written by Helen, "To my dear friends who brought light in times of darkness." William began sharing his memories of Helen, describing how she was a constant source of support and encouragement to everyone around her. He spoke about a specific mission where Helen risked her own life to save a group of soldiers trapped in an ambush. "She was the soul of bravery," William said with a trembling voice, "and she never let fear stop her from doing what was right." Maria felt a profound connection with William and immense gratitude for his willingness to share these memories. The stories and letters gave her an even richer understanding of her grandmother's life and the impact she had on those around her. During the visit, William handed Maria a special letter that Helen had written to him but never sent. In this letter, Helen talked about her family, expressing her love for them and her hope of one day being reunited with everyone. She mentioned Maria, Tom, and Emily, even though she had never met them personally. Reading this letter brought tears to Maria's eyes. It was as if Helen was speaking directly to them, leaving a message of love and hope that transcended time. Maria felt a deep peace knowing that through her words, Helen was still present, guiding and inspiring her family. The visit to William not only brought revelations about Helen's past, but also strengthened the bond between Maria, Tom, and Emily. They realized that Helen's story was a living legacy that would continue to inspire not only their family, but everyone who read their book. As they said goodbye to William, Maria promised to keep in touch and continue sharing Helen's stories. William, in turn, expressed his gratitude for bringing to light the memory of such an extraordinary woman. He felt honored to know that Helen's stories would continue to live on and inspire future generations. And so, with hearts full of new revelations and connections, Maria, Tom, and Emily returned home, determined to continue honoring Helen's legacy by sharing her stories of courage and love with the world. After their visit to William, Maria, Tom, and Emily felt even more inspired to share Helen's story with the world. They decided to organize a launch event for the book Hearts of Steel, Helen's Bravery, inviting war veterans, historians, and community members. They wanted Helen's life to touch and inspire as many people as possible. The event was held in an old city theater, carefully decorated with photos of Helen, letters, and other memorabilia. The atmosphere was filled with emotion and anticipation. Maria was nervous, but also very proud to share her grandmother's story with so many people. The theater was packed. William was there, along with other veterans who had served with Helen. There was a feeling of camaraderie and respect in the air as everyone gathered to celebrate the life of an extraordinary woman. Maria took the stage and began to speak. With a trembling but determined voice, she recounted the discovery of the letters, the writing of the book, and the incredible stories they had learned about Helen. She read excerpts from the book, including the last letter from Helen, found by William. "My dear family, if you ever read these words, know that my love for you is eternal. The war separated us, but my spirit is with you every step of the way. Never stop fighting for a better world. With love, Helen." Helen's words echoed through the theater, touching the hearts of everyone present. Tears streamed down many faces, including Maria's. She felt a deep connection with her grandmother, as if Helen were there with them, smiling and offering her strength. Tom and Emily joined Maria on stage. Together, they thanked everyone for being there and for honoring Helen's memory. They expressed their gratitude to William and the other veterans for their stories and sacrifices. After the speeches, there was a moment of silence to honor Helen and all those who had fought alongside her. It was a solemn and powerful moment, full of respect and reverence. The event also included the sale of the book, with proceeds going to help war veterans and their families. Maria, Tom, and Emily spent the night signing books and talking with guests. The shared stories, revived memories, and love present in the theater were a living testament to Helen's impact. As the event drew to a close, Maria felt a profound sense of fulfillment. She knew that through the book and the shared stories, Helen's legacy would live on forever. Helen had been a hero not just in her own life, but also in the lives of all those she touched, directly or indirectly. Back home, Maria, Tom, and Emily reflected on the journey they had traveled. Helen's life, filled with courage and love, had left an indelible mark on their own lives. They were determined to continue living according to the values Helen had demonstrated. And so, Helen's legacy continued to flourish. Her stories of bravery and compassion were passed down from generation to generation, inspiring many to live with more love, courage, and hope. Through the written words and the hearts touched, Helen continued to live, her light shining eternally in the world. The book, Hearts of Steel, Helen's Bravery, became a symbol of resilience and love, a testament that even in the darkest moments, courage and kindness can prevail. And in the hearts of her family and all those who knew her story, Helen lived on forever, a true hero.